Welcome to Creativity TV.
On today's show, docrafts designer Jo Austin shows us everything you need to know about quilling with her gorgeous, vibrant card.
Roll VT.
Today, I just want to show you how to make this little quilled flower in the centre of this card. I've made it by using a range of different quilling shapes, and we've got marquee shapes and we've got tight coils, and it's just a variation of both of them. On the rest of the card, I've got a few different shapes, and just by playing about with the new quilling board that docrafts have brought out, you can make a range of different size circles, shapes and coils. So the first thing that I want to do is just to make the centre coil of the flower, and I've got two full length quilling strips, and I'm going to divide them up into thirds, which makes it round about 18 centimetres. So if we just pop it onto the board, what I'm going to do is measure around about 18 centimetres and just tear it apart. Now, tearing it rather than cutting it just ensures that the ends actually go together just slightly better when we're piecing them together. So that's all the parts ready for my quilling. The thing I love about this quilling tool is I've got two purposes. I've got the sharp pokey tool that helps me to position my quilling pieces, and I've got the quilling end, and both of them together work really well. So the first thing that I want to do is just to apply a little bit of sticky glue, and I find that this glue works really well, so it's got a nice pointy end, and we're just going to stick alternately the green and the orange together. So at the end of the orange you're going to put another little bit of glue and stick the green, and just continue until you've got a full strip. So now we've got one long continuous strip, and now we can start to do the very tight coil. So to do the coil, I hold my quilling tool in my hand, and I'm just going to hook it in and just start to curl. Now, until it curls too far up and it's actually self-supporting, I just pop it onto the end of my thumb and put my other finger in place just to hold it, so I know that I'm getting a really tight coil. Now when we get to the end of the strip, I've got my fingers just holding that piece of quilled shape, and I've got a little tab section just there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there, and I'm just going to press that round onto my coil. I don't worry if it comes undone, because I can just support it again. Now I'm going to slide it off the tool and just sit it down onto my table. Now the other benefit of having this tool is I've got this flat section in the middle, and I can use that as a roller. So if we pop that onto the top of the coil and give it a little roll, we can ensure we've got a really flat top, and that's our multicoloured coil finished. So to do the little green coils, the very tight green coils, we're going to use half a strip of the green quilling paper. So I'm just keeping hold of the end of that. I've coiled it very tightly, and just repeat that process with the glue. Now I like just to hold it on the end of my finger just for a couple of seconds, just till that glue just dries a little bit. And again we'll pop it down, give it a little roll. This salmon strip that I'm going to use is just a quarter of a strip. It's going to create a very tight coil, but because it's nice and bright, it's going to accentuate your card and give it that really modern look. So again, we're just going to quill a tight coil, exactly the same as we have before, and then we're just going to glue the ends. And then we're just going to flatten it again using the top edge. Now to create the marquee shapes, this is where we're going to use our board. And what I'm going to use are these little sections here, which is the third one along. So to do this, we're going to quill in exactly the same way, but we don't need to hold it quite so tight. We need to enable it to unroll. So this time I just put my tool in between my two fingers, and I'm just supporting the tool to keep it in the same place. I'm not holding onto the paper in any shape or form. Just going to quill it very, very loosely and just let the paper just find its way around. All I need to do is to make sure that my quilled end just stays in the same place, and then slide it off your tool and pop it in to your board. Now we're just going to let it uncoil. We can then use the pokey end of your tool just to help us lift that shape out. It's just easier than grabbing it with your fingers. So now we've got this little end here, now it's uncoiled, that we need to stick down. So again, just apply that little bit of adhesive to the end and press it on. Now to create the marquee shape, what I'm going to do is put my pointy tool in again, right into the centre, and pull it to one side. So the eye of that shape is up towards the top. Hold it with your finger and give it a nice press down. So we'll repeat that 8 times, so we've got 8 of those little shapes. I've stuck some of them already together and we're just going to add our last little bits. So if you look at your marquise, where the eye is towards the bottom, that's going to be more towards the centre of your little flower shape. So this time we're going to put a little bit of glue just on the edge, and I find this easier to work on my table rather than working in my fingers. So we can just position the little petal where it needs to be, and then we can start and take our other little coils that we made, and to position these, again it's just very easy using the pointy tool to pop your coil on the end of there, put a little bit of glue top and bottom, and as you put your glue on it will automatically just drop to the base. With that in place we can then just position that to the inside of your flower. Now we're going to take the salmon coil, the slightly larger one, and that's going to attach onto the top of the yellow. So this time we just need the one little blob of glue and we're just going to pop it on the top of that yellow just there. And then the next thing that we need to do finally is just pop your little green piece on. Now because it's slightly bigger we can hold that in as fingers. Put a little bit of glue just on the top and that's going to stick on the top of the salmon one. And there we are, one completed little flower. So to prepare my card blank, what I've actually done is just embossed the front, but I've made sure I've got a large yellow circle, more or less in the middle at the top. Now when I glue my flower in place, what I'm going to do is put quite a little puddle of glue right in the centre, and that's going to stick right in the middle of that little flower. Now when we quill different shapes, we can actually create different flowers. I've also used a typography stamp at the bottom, and I've quilled some loops to follow the shapes that are actually on the stamp. So this is my finished card.
I always perceived quilling to be a really advanced technique, but Jo's made it look really simple and contemporary.
She's also made us this beautiful snowflake card using exactly the same techniques but with some added bling using some embossing powder. And even better, it doubles as a beautiful decoration.
Jo's been really busy recently, taking photographs of her new craft room after being in her craft shed for years. I'm so jealous of Jo's craft room. My craft room got taken over by my eldest daughter. If you've got photos of your craft room that you would like to share with us, send them in to tv@docrafts.com.
And of course you can find details of all today's projects here in the Creativity Club at docrafts.com. Until next time, happy crafting!